This is why no contact works so well with men. We're going to give you exactly what to do and what to say when the guy comes back, because they always come back.
And I'll talk about what men are thinking when you stop talking to them and exactly why they come back.
And for those lovely ladies that are new here, what's up? I'm Natasha.
And I'm Brian.
I was a former single mom with 4 kids, went through a whole bunch of trauma and loss. If you're interested in learning more about dating and relationships and feeling good in your body again, I'm talking your hormones, your nervous system, all of that.
Click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos and content.
So we're out here traveling right now. We don't have a mic, that's why we're using this, but we had to drop this video for you girls because we've been seeing this so much where girls are like, how do I respond to this guy or that guy? And asking us a specific question of, hey, we've gone on a few dates and things were going really well, and then this guy just started ghosting. He started leaning back. He's just sending me breadcrumbs, text messages. How do I respond to this? And we've also had questions from our ladies in the community where they've actually broken off soul ties. They've, let go of these toxic relationships, or guys that were just not showing up. But then these guys come back. They always come back. So how do you respond in these situations? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And you're going to get my answer, the feminine energy response, and then you're going to also understand what men are actually thinking.
Sounds good.
So we'll go through a few scenarios, okay? So first scenario is things are going great. You're going on a few dates with this guy. Things are going good. Of course, he's talking about marriage. You guys are aligning, you're vibing, all this stuff. And then he starts to not really follow up with you. Maybe he's sending you a text message here and there, but he hasn't really taken initiative to plan more dates with you. He's leaning back. What do you do in that scenario?
So in that situation where you go on a few dates, things are going well, then he stops reaching out. What usually happens in those situations is he was testing it out, right? So men with dates, they'll present well. They definitely don't want to come across as being disrespectful. So in your eyes, it was great dates. In his eyes, he was just filling things out, seeing potentially if he could get a good night with you, maybe, seeing if things can move a little quicker. And sometimes because it didn't move as quickly as he wanted to, he just moved on to the next lady. He may have had fun during those dates, but his objective was to get something within the first couple of dates. He didn't get it. So what guys do a lot of times is, okay, they'll give it a couple of dates. If they don't get what they want and they're not really serious, then they start falling away. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's not that he didn't like you. But at that moment in time, he wasn't seeking something serious with you. And he wanted to kind of move a little quicker. It wasn't moving as fast as he wanted to. So he went to other options. Even though they may say a lot of things that they want to do, like, okay, I want to be with, potentially get married. You're the type of woman that I would be with. In their heart, they haven't made the decision to just be with one woman.
So ladies, this is what you do in that situation. This is why it's so important, babe, that you are rotationally dating until there is a ring on your finger or there's some crazy commitment that you know that this person, like you guys are getting married, there's a timeline, something like that. Because men will say whatever they need to say. They will put on their best face, they will treat you like a queen, but you don't know what their real intentions are. Even with good guys. Like this doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It's just how men are wired. They're wired for convenience, and they respond to our energy. But for us, because most women are very monogamous in their thinking and their emotions, they meet a guy, he's amazing, he's talking about marriage, he's taking me seriously, but then he kind of flakes off, and then you are feeling rejected and disappointed, and you don't want to date anymore. So instead, what you want to do, always want to stay emotionally detached from these guys. This is also why you are not sleeping with them and you're not hooking up with them, because it changes your brain chemistry, so you're hooked on these guys. And you're not going based on what he tells you. You're going based on what they do, their follow through. So you keep rotationally dating, and if he comes back after a few days, after not talking to you, after things were great, you don't even notice. Like, you're bored, you're on to the next thing. You're so busy doing other things in your life that you literally don't notice if he fell off the edge of a cliff or what happened to him. If you've moved on, so you're not triggered, you're not triggered your emotions, you're not triggered when he responds to you or texts you, you're not sending him sarcastic messages, passive aggressive messages. No, you have moved on with your life. And then that way, if he's really serious about you, like, oh my gosh, I can't screw around this girl, he will have to go above and beyond to get your attention again. Okay. Scenario number 2, you've cut this guy off. Maybe you guys were dating, maybe you were in a relationship. Things were not going as planned, in the sense of things maybe were toxic, or maybe this guy was just, taking too long to decide to get married. Whatever the scenario is, you decided that he is not the person for you. Okay. So what we teach our girls is, move on with your life. And of course, the men will come running back as soon as you start investing into yourself, having your glow up, all the stuff. So what do you do when he comes back after you've cut him off for good and he's telling you all these things about how amazing he is? What do you do in that scenario?
So this is why he came back, and then I'll give you what you do. Reason that he came back, depending on if you've slept with him or not. So if you've slept with him, he's coming back because he wants to sleep with you again, right?
Yeah.
It was good. Maybe he took a break. Maybe
Yeah.
he, was dating other people, just didn't have time where he can go out on dates with you. It was just asking too much. So he stopped reaching out. But now he wants to sleep with you again. So he'll go right through the same process. He'll be the best guy ever. He'll say all the right things just until he sleeps with you again. Other reason could be if you haven't slept together, you kept your boundaries, right? You let him know exactly what you were willing to do while in the dating phase. He respected it, but he wasn't ready for it. So now he's coming back. He may have been dating. He may be ready to move forward in a real relationship situation. In that sense, you don't want to make it easy for him. Now, you're not out here just making it super difficult. You're just being mean. But you have to consider, do you want to go down this path with this guy? If you do want to go down this path with this guy and he has a reason that you feel is legitimate, then it's really like starting over again, right? Everything that he did to earn your trust, your respect, he needs to earn it again. And you don't just want to jump back in it, because by nature, what men would do, even though he wants to be with you now and he wants to move forward and really have a serious relationship, and I can speak to that because we had a break in our relationship as well, right? Because we were living in different countries. The reason why he's coming back, he respected you and he knows that you have boundaries. So now, as he's starting over, you want to give him the opportunity, but you also don't want to just be available. You want to make sure that you continue living your life, because remember, we talk about rotationally dating, and you may like this guy. You may think, okay, he's ready now, so let me just go all in. But you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your emotions, and you want to make sure that the process starts from the beginning and he earns everything, that he gets your time. He earns your emotions. He earns everything. And you don't want to give anything away until you're official. Continue to hold those boundaries. Continue to make sure that you're not sleeping with this guy, and he'll respect you, and the relationship potentially can go further. But he's coming back because he respected your boundaries. He respected who you were, even though he wasn't ready for it at the time.
Okay, ladies, this is what's happening. This is an energy dance, right? So when you lean back as the feminine, the masculine naturally comes forward. Just think of the sperm chasing the egg. This is why it's so important that you as a woman learn how to energetically lean back while keeping your energy soft and warm and open, so the masculine can come and chase you. This is in dating and in marriage, and it's something that we teach our ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy. But like what Brian said, is you need to have some strategy too. So in our situation as well, like, things were great, but we separated because the timing wasn't right, self-sabotage, you can call it whatever it is. We had to both do another layer of healing, but eventually he came back, because the guys always come back. But like what he said is, you need to have your standards and your boundaries in place. And that's what I did. I was warm, I was open. We hadn't talked for, I think it was like 6 months at all. And when he came back and he was like super serious about pursuing me for marriage, I was very clear in a very warm way, okay, well, we're going to do it differently this time. And he came to Canada, right? Like now we moved to the US and everything, but he had to really show me that he was serious for marriage. I wasn't playing games, but I kept my energy soft and warm. So that's your feminine energy response, is you've done so much inner healing that you're not triggered. You are not sarcastic, you're not mean, your guard isn't up, you don't have walls, but you're not also giving into everything that he's telling you, because he could genuinely love you and you could genuinely love him, but that doesn't mean he's right for you, babe. Okay, so it's so important that you have your love list, the things that I teach the girls in the Feminine Energy Academy. You've done your inner healing in your nervous system, so when he comes back, you know how to hold your boundaries without compromising your values. And that is what makes you so magnetic, because men want what they can't have, and they value you more when you value yourself. I just want to add this one thing. This is the worst thing you can do as a woman, okay? And if you've done this, that's okay. Forgive yourself, but stop doing it like today, okay? And that is, every time he comes back, you just give in to him, and you give him a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance. You have trained him that you don't follow through. You've trained him that if he pursues you hard enough, long enough, that he will eventually get what he wants without that commitment of marriage. That has a lot to do with inner child wounds, breaking boundaries with yourself, abandoning yourself, and then eventually attracting men that mirror that back to you, that inconsistency. Okay, so I encourage you to heal that. The reason why no contact works so well with men do not respond, and maybe you can touch on this a little bit. Men don't respond to you nagging at them. Men don't respond to you trying to convince them to do things, to show up for you, or they don't respond to that. What they respond to, what the masculine responds to, like I'm talking healthy masculine energy, what it responds to is our presence and the absence of our energy. It's subconscious. Most men can't even articulate that, but they feel good in your presence and they miss you like crazy when you're not there. So they know that they need to do whatever it is that they need to do so that they can have you in their life for good. And I'm talking about a man that's actually ready for marriage.
And definitely, like she said, as far as the nagging and really just getting on him, being triggered and upset, it doesn't work. I mean, he's not going to respond in the way that you desire, but he will respond. And he'll respond by backing away. He'll respond by not being available, because what men don't like is the masculine energy coming at the masculine energy. So, exactly. So when you're coming at him, a healthy masculine energy provider male would definitely not want to get into anything with you. And then we're actually repelled by it, right? We turn the other way without even thinking about it. It's not a conscious decision that we make. We make that decision because if we're romantically interested in you, that just turns us off. So coming at him gets a response, but not the response that you desire to get. And that includes you coming at him, the long text messages, the calls, the you telling him about himself and why he is the way he is. All that in your face. So a lot of times it's not just physically in your face, but in your face with your words, in your face with your text messages. That right there just lets us know that this isn't the woman that I want to spend my time with. I don't have peace when I'm around her. And what it does as well is it bothers our nervous system. We just don't feel comfortable when you're coming at us like that. So to protect ourselves, to protect our emotions, even though a lot of men aren't outwardly emotional, on the inside, we have to protect our emotions so we don't respond in a certain way. We would just rather leave the situation and leave you and allow you to continue doing what you're doing, but we don't want to allow ourselves to go certain places with women, so we just step away from it.
So, ladies, if you're needing help in any of the areas that we've talked about, how to influence a guy, how to attract healthy, quality, high value, provider energy men that show up consistently, then jump in the Feminine Energy Academy and we help you heal in these areas and show exactly how to date for marriage or even turn your marriage around.
And DM us as soon as you join so we can get you the tools, the audios, the things that you need to get started.